Hey guys, how's it going? Good morning. Today is November 4th, Wednesday, I believe, or Thursday. I don't know, let me check the dates. I have a new setup right now for the for my office setup over here. So I just need to make sure everything is working fine. I did get the new monitors finally all set up, so it's good to go. Hopefully I won't have any more accidents taking any accidental trades, since I have a whole screen dedicated just to MT4. So yeah, I mean, we'll see where this goes. And I just got to get used to this whole setup because the screen's kind of high. So you'll see me looking up a little bit. But other than that, let me set up the room and then we can get started. Get the Zoom link out for you guys here as well. All right. All right, there we go. All right, cool. Let me start letting people into the room real quick. As you wait for that, I'm going to update everything here. So good morning, everybody. Hopefully you guys had a great trading week so far. It's been a crazy trading day. Well, not really day, but just week in general. I was looking at US 30 over the London session, and market was super choppy. Like it had really not very much direction at all. Which, I mean, it's not super surprising, but I was expecting some sort of direction by now, hopefully, but it's okay. I mean, we'll see how the market goes during this session. Hopefully it starts to move a little smoother with not as much crazy news, but we'll play through it and we'll see if there's anything that we can possibly look at. So good morning, everybody. Morning, Kenny. Morning, Peter. Morning, Jay. Morning, Mauricio. Morning, everyone. As I was saying earlier, guys, I did get my new monitor set up, so I have a whole monitors dedicated just to MT4. So you'll kind of see me looking up over here every so often because my screen's a little higher. Morning, Essa. But one thing, can you guys confirm that the volume's okay? Because I had to move the mic to another location because it was blocking the other screen. So I just want to make sure that the mic is okay and you guys are good. Okay, perfect, awesome. Yeah, it's just a little farther from my face. It's like kind of high, so I have to talk a little louder. So I want to make sure that it's working fine. So it looks like it's working good. Thanks, Patricia. Thanks, Jay. Thanks, Peter. Thanks, Esther, for confirming that. So yeah, it's 6:20 right now. Market is opening in about 20. In about 10 minutes. When the market opens, we can confirm what the direction is looking like. Currently, right now, looking at US 30. The chart is pretty choppy. I mean, if I go over here to the clean chart, you can see that it's pretty choppy. There's not really much of a direction set. You can see during London session, it went up, then it came down, and then it kind of just went sideways. I think a lot of you guys noticed last night as well that the currency.com data like stopped working for a bit, which is super weird because it never does that during holidays. But yeah, I mean, we'll see how the market does move today. Hopefully it starts to move a little smoother. Anyways, let's take a look at the retail sentiment right now. Looking at current retail sentiment, it is 76% short. It was 79% short yesterday. I actually took a little buy. Actually, I took a normal buy, but then I was holding on to that position for like, I don't know, like 5 or 6 hours. And I was like, I need to get out of this position. So what happened was right here, it was during the entire Asia session. So if you guys remember this, I didn't realize that the chart stopped working. I thought the market was just not moving. So I actually entered like at some point down here, and I was just holding on to it for like forever, and I was waiting for it to do something, and it didn't do anything. So I had to open a different chart. And what I did was when it reached like 10 over here, when it pushed up, I closed out and I got like a small profit of like a couple $100, which is not too much. I was trying to reach a different profit, obviously a full move, but the entire session for Asia didn't move at all. So going back to current price right now, you can see it's doing the same thing. It's kind of just ranging within these two areas. Let me go over to the fundamentals real quick to see where the futures data is sitting. Currently right now, the futures data is currently 8 points in the green. So it's not very, I mean, it's bullish, but it's not very bullish at all. Let's go take a look at the technicals. So looking at the current technicals right now, price is below the pivots, but the trend meter is blue. So this indicates that price is indecisive, and you can kind of just see that by looking at current price, right? It's just bouncing up and down. It's not really pushing up forever or pushing down forever. It's just going up and down, back and forth. Looking over at the 3 minute, I mean, it's even worse here. If you like zoom in a little bit here, you can see that this thing is not moving at all, right? It's literally not moving. You can see the movement here from yesterday. So this was yesterday morning. Price was actually moving. Price kind of just died out all throughout Asia session. You can see right here, price did not move at all. And that's why the candles are so small, because there's so much more movement yesterday compared to today. And, you know, going farther down here, you can see that it still isn't moving, right? Price has literally been ranging between this two area right here, from this high to this low. It's literally just going back and forth. So looking at current price for the 3 minute, it's somewhat bullish. And the reason for that is because price was above the pivots and the trend meter was green over here. However, it's not really strong, right? Until it, you know, confirms it, then it's probably gonna just keep bouncing back and forth. So price is indecisive for both the 1 minute, 3 minute. Now we'll look at the 10 minute. And with 10 minute here, you would see the same thing. You know, price was moving directional yesterday morning. This was when the FOMC went off. If you guys remembered, we were waiting for this bullish move. So literally all session, it was just going slowly down. So market opened right here at 6:30. It just slowly went down, and then it finally pushed up, and that was what we were waiting for. That's what hit our full TP off the daily entry. I don't have it marked up anymore, but it was a full TP yesterday for whoever held on to it. So, you know, great work to whoever held on to it. I technically got pulled out of this when I sent that message yesterday where I said I was going to move my stop loss and profit. As soon as I sent that message, it pulled me out. So I got kicked out with like a couple $100, but I mean, if I held on to it, it would have been a $15,000 win because I was trading a 10 lot. I thought I entered for a 1 lot, but I didn't change my lot size on my depth of market. So it got me in at the normal lot size, and that's why I had to pull out, because I was over leveraged way too high for any sort of pullback. So looking at current price right here for the 10 minute, it's also indecisive. And the reason for that is because price isn't really above or below the pivots. It's just right down the middle, and the trend meter is also red. So there's no bias right now on the technical side. I think our main thing that we'd have to look for when the market opens is the fundamentals. The fundamentals are going to dictate the direction. And then once we can figure out what the direction is, we can trade in that direction, obviously, right? So we got to be careful today, guys. One last thing I want to look at before the market opens is I want to take a look at the news. So let's go over here real quick, pull up the news. So let's refresh this currently today. It is Thursday, November 4th. There was a couple of news this morning. There was Challenger job cuts at 4:30. It was a little bit smaller. Going down, we have natural gas storage at 7:30 a.m. And then we have a couple other news events later, but they're not related to the US. We have MPC member Kun Life speaks, and AIG services at 2 when the market is closed for New York. So there's not very much news today. And since there's not much news, well, at 5:30 we had unemployment claims. It was actually less, so it was good news. But other than that, there really isn't too much more for us to really look at right now. So anyways, going over to the news analysis here, since there's not much news, volatility might be a little lower than it was yesterday. If you remembered following us yesterday, actually it was low yesterday too. It's just been a weird week. There's a lot of different factors. There's the climate summit that's going on. If you guys were with us on Monday, that was going on. It's also the first week of the month, and Thursday is usually the day where it picks up, and Friday's obviously gonna be the craziest day because that is actual NFP. But I mean, this entire week has just kind of been back and forth, a lot of consolidation, a lot of ranging, not really much direction at all. So hopefully we do get some direction today, but if not, you guys already know it's not really a big deal because That's just normal for this week. You know, this week could be NFP could be a really good week for people, or it can be a really bad week. There's been some weeks where we've had amazing trading weeks during NFP because volatility was so high. And there's been some weeks where it's just been super dead, like it's been this week. So I haven't really taken many trades this week at all. That's why I haven't really been posting much. Because I just haven't really been taking many trades, right? Like you've seen here, I've taken trades on Tuesday, Monday. You know, obviously I made some pretty decent profit, but I haven't really taken anything else. It's kind of just, you know, waiting game for those perfect opportunities. So what we're going to do here, guys, is first things first, we're going to look at the fundamentals when the market does finally open. We'll look at the fundamentals here. We'll see where everything's sitting. Then we'll look at retail sentiment, which is currently 76% short. And then after that, we'll take a look at the technicals to see if it finally chooses a direction. Let me just refresh CNBC real quick to see if there's any other update here. So Biden said businesses have until after the holidays to implement Biden COVID vaccine mandate. So that's going to affect the market next year. Probably won't affect it now, but you know, eventually it's going to affect it because that mandate is going to require that businesses place a vaccine mandate on their employees if they have, like, I think over 100 employees. So that's going to affect the market, obviously, because people will just lose their job. And then they're probably going to have to give some sort of, I don't know, some sort of stimulus again for the people who are losing their jobs. I mean, I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. Once we figure that out, then, you know, we can make a decision as to where the market's going to go from there. Otherwise, let's go back to TradingView. You can see price has some pre-market moves right now. It's slowly moving down, but we'll see what happens when the market actually opens. So morning, Delmas, morning, Lisa, morning, Matt, morning, everybody. Duggan said 6 wins, 1 loss during Asia and London open. Crazy movements in GBP, FTC, and DAX today. Bank rates in the UK stayed the same. GBP sank 1%. I'm currently long EJ, and I just closed long DAX. Let's go. Definitely nice work, Duggan. So Duggan's still trading. Duggan's from Australia, so he's trading like a lot of the European assets. And it looks like he's doing pretty good. So I'm glad to see a lot of you guys are still doing good in other assets, not just US 30. You know, especially during a time like this where the market's kind of slow. Morning, Jennifer. Morning, everybody. So market is opening in about 40 seconds. When the market opens, we can confirm the bias for the fundamentals. And then from there, we'll look at the retail sentiment, which is currently short. And then from there, we can start looking at trades on the technical side. I'm anticipating that it's going to be bullish, but I mean, we'll see. The only reason I'm looking for it to be bullish is because the retail sentiment is so short, right? You know, looking at retail sentiment right here, it's currently 76% short. So obviously I want to trade the opposite of retail sentiment, which would be the opposite direction, which would be a buy. So we'll see what happens. Market is opening right about now. There's that bullish move that we were looking for. Let's go over here to the fundamentals real quick. Refresh this. Currently 7 points in the green. Not very much, but I mean, it is there. So we will continue to take a look at that. So let's refresh this again. Currently 7 points in the green. Not very much at all. It's not really moving one directional. It's kind of just going right down the middle right now, which is nothing to be surprised by. For this week, looking at current price, you can see that big spike to the upside, right? So this opening candle right here had a huge spike to the upside for about 300 pips. It looks bigger than it really is, but I mean, it's bigger than compared to the other candles. However, one thing to keep in mind is these huge wicks right here. See how big this wick is? This wick just indicates a huge spike of indecisiveness because current price is right down the middle. So I drew a line right there to indicate where the market opened. So what I'm going to do here is we'll be looking for price to push away from it and possibly come back. So looking at this right here, you can see prices continuing to push to the upside. In order for us to have a breakout to the upside, is we have to have a buy signal and they have to close above this line right here. So we need this to push above here, and we also need it to provide a buy signal with a strong green candle. If it doesn't do that, then there's not going to be an entry for the breakout. And you can see prices kind of just bouncing around this area. So going back over here, let's This is Dow Hubbard's in your record. Are we near the all-time high? Let me check. Well, that is actually the all-time high right there. So we broke the all-time high yesterday. It's 36,193. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to draw that over here so that we know 36,193. Pricing is a little different there. 36,193. Oh. All right, 36,193. All right, so this is going to be a little iffy. One thing that I didn't account for was the fact that it was at the all-time high. So with it being at the all-time high, I mean, obviously, you guys know like how that would affect the market. It's going to be iffy because when price gets near the all-time high, you know what generally happens is price comes right back down. So I'll have that marked up right there for, I mean, the line's right there. You guys can see 30. I'm going to draw that again right here too, just so that we're aware, because we obviously, you know, we don't want to be trading near the all-time high. So although fundamentals may be bullish, it's obviously going to be, you know, a risky area to be trading, because it's so close to the all. It's not that close. Let me just measure it real quick. Price is currently right here. It's 770 pips, which is not very far, but I mean, it is not too close either, because prices, the volatility has been so low, moving like about, you know, 100 to 300 pips. So we'll have to see what happens. One thing that can happen here is price can bounce off this Asia low and then come right back up. However, I don't think the fundamentals are very strong one side or the other right now. There's obviously not going to be a breakout, or technically this, no, the wicks are too big. In order for there to be a breakout, there would need to be either a strong red candle with little to no wick on the bottom side or a swing to the upside. Currently right now, there's like big wicks on the bottom side right here. So there would be no breakout. If this candle right here closes with little to no wick on the bottom side, meaning the body's really big, the wick down here is like really small compared to the body, then this would technically be the breakout. It would have to come within this candle right here or the next candle, because we only look for the breakout until 6:35. So if this closes right here, I'm not going to take the trade, but I will mark it up so that you guys can see what I mean by that. I mean, we haven't been taking the breakout lately anyways because of the riskiness in the market, and you guys understand that. So going over here, let me just check out the fundamentals. Currently 64 points in the red. It's not 100 like we like. You know, once it gets to 100, then we can start looking for, you know, trades in that direction. So right here, technically, this would be the breakout. I'm not going to take the trade, obviously, but the reason why this would have been the breakout is because we're looking for momentum on market open. So basically momentum after, or I mean, technically, I guess you could consider this a breakout as well, because the wick isn't as big as I thought it was. This right here for sure would not be a breakout candle because it's not a strong candle at all, right? This right here might have passed for it because, but it's also going to be a little iffy. The reason for that is because the candle right here, let's see, the candle right here is about 12 pips or 120 pips. The body is still like 50 pips. So it's, you know, it's not necessarily a huge wick, but it's, you know, it's a subjective wick where you can't really tell if it's a strong one or not. Looking at this one right here, this one would be a better entry, but the reason why I wouldn't have taken it was because the retail sentiment is currently short. So I generally don't want to trade in the majority where the majority is trading, which would be right here, 76% short. If this was 76% long, then yeah, I would take the shorts. But currently right now, the retail sentiment is too high. And the reason why it's high is that a lot of people understand that we're close to the all-time high and they're expecting price to come dump right back down, right? However, we're thinking price is going to continue to push up as long as this number right here continues to increase. So it's currently at 76%. If this increases to like 78, 80%, then, you know, we would definitely expect a push to the upside. However, this would technically be the breakout, but I'm not going to be taking it for, you know, the specific reason I just mentioned right now. So let's just move forward with the next entries. And I'll be looking for, I'll put the strategies right here. So we're going to look for the 1 minute pivot scalp. And technically right here, or there's no entry available right now. If I do see one, I'll let you guys know, but then we're going to look for the 1 minute pivot scalp, the high-low scalp strategy. Pretty much the same thing we apply every single day. Nothing changes here, guys. So it doesn't matter if it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we're applying the same exact strategies. We're applying what's been tested and what's been proven every single day. If you guys have been with K2 for a while, we've been applying these strategies for months, years, if not longer. And it's the same thing pretty much every single day. So if you guys have been here for a while, you guys know exactly why we keep applying these strategies. And the main reason is because they work. Some people just they don't get that. Everyone thinks that you have to trade in one specific way, but there's like thousands of different ways to trade. The main thing is to figure out what works and to reapply it every single day. The thing with like different strategies is that they're seasonal. These aren't seasonal. I've been doing this every day live for like the past year, 2 years, 3 years now. So obviously the strategy is not seasonal because we've been applying it through all seasons and it still works. So yeah, that's the reason why we apply these strategies. And that's why we focused on these pretty much all year round. I know before we used to apply the K2SR zone strategy, but I no longer go live for like 4 or 5 hours anymore. I only go live for about an hour and a half. That's my trading window. And that's why we stick to scalps now. I mean, if you guys want to trade intraday or swing, that's completely fine. But, I don't like being on the screen for that long anymore. I like to just get in and out, take my trades, make my profit, and get out for the day. So looking at current price right here for the snipe, you can see that this might be a possible entry for a sell. The reason for that is because we do have a rejection off the pivot, rejection off the structure. We have a sell signal right here, so direction is bearish. So if this does close there, this would technically be an entry for a snipe. So we'll come back to that. This candle closed in about a minute. Looking over here for the daily entry, there's currently no daily entry right now. If you guys remember the daily entry from yesterday that hit full TP for 1,500 pips. This is still the opening candle. I'll put the requirements right here for that specific strategy. And that's about it. All right, so we have everything marked up here. No entry off the daily yet. Pending entry right here for the snipe. 3 minute over here, pending entry for the 3 minute as well. However, I'm not really looking for any sells. So even if this closes here, I'm probably not going to take it. Reason for that is because, like I mentioned earlier, guys, fundamentals are not fundamentals. Retail sentiment is heavily short right now, and I don't want to trade in the direction of retail traders. So I'll mark that up for you guys. For whoever wants to take it, I consider it a risky trade because it's going against retail. It's going with retail sentiment instead of against it. Same with the 3 minute here. If this closes here, this would technically be an entry for the daily and for the pivot scalp. So again, right here, technically this would be another entry as well. But I'm not going to take it because, for the specific reasons there that that I don't want to trade in the direction of retail. I want to trade opposite, which is for a buy. So, however, if we do get the fundamentals on that side, then yeah, obviously I'll start trading that way. But currently right now, it's not going that way yet. It's only down 52 points. It's the same setup that we looked at yesterday, right? If you guys were following this yesterday for the live session, the market did the same thing. It kept pushing down, down, down. And then as soon as FOMC went off, it just skyrocketed to the upside. And we were waiting for that. And it finally pushed up and hit our, obviously our full TP here for that buy there. So as you guys can see right here, we were waiting for that bullish move to the upside. And you can see it played out perfectly, right? It just kept dropping for like a couple hours. And then it shot all the way up and hit full TP using the daily strategy. So this is the reason why I'm not looking for a sell, because they're basically just luring people into these sells. And then when you least expect it, just skyrockets to the upside. And this is a perfect analysis here as to why I'm not looking for any sells today, because the same thing happens. It's the same pattern that just, repeats itself over and over again. So I'm not looking for any sells. There was no sell there off of 3 minutes. So we'll delete that. This 10 minute here is technically running, but I'm not going to take it. Like I mentioned, if you guys want to take it at your own risk, but understand the risks that are involved with this trade here. and the reason why I'm not taking that sell, and why I'm not looking for any sells in general. So what I'm looking for here is I'm looking for this to swing to the upside. I need this to be bullish, meaning this number goes from red to green, and then having that green at least above 100 points and stable above those 100 points to confirm that the fundamentals here are pushing towards the upside. Reason for that is because the retail sentiment is short, and I don't want to be trading with retail. So going back to the charts over here, let me just go back to the clean chart. You guys can see here, price is coming back to opening price, right? When price reaches this point, and you guys have seen the same pattern play out yesterday, comes back, tests the opening price, and what happens from here, price either breaks above and continues pushing up higher, or bounces right back below. But something that you guys want to make sure is that it actually stabilizes before it does that. Because what will happen sometimes is price will go up, it'll fake out to the bottom side, it'll fake out down here, and then it'll shoot right back up like it did yesterday. So you guys just want to make sure that you wait for the confirmation. You know, it's all about patience. It's always been about patience, for you guys to avoid getting caught in fake outs. But my bias here is that price is going to come back, retest it, maybe consolidate a bit, and swing back to the upside. The one thing that you guys want to be careful for, though, is that this is the all-time high. So measuring current price right now, which is down here, up to the all-time high, is currently almost 800 pips. So even though we might not reach the all-time high during the New York session, it might happen towards the end, or it might happen during Asia. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens when the market does get to that point. Other than that, let's see, the chat says, hey, morning, Miles. Christopher said, good morning, everybody. I think the Fed's buying more bonds at some point today. Yeah, I believe so. I think I saw that on CNBC as well. Maddie just confirmed that sentiment 76% short and going to test market open price. Yep, exactly. So as you guys can see right here, it's the same pattern that we look at pretty much every day this week, right? The same exact pattern. Price comes down, comes back and retests the opening price. And then from this point, price either breaks above or it comes below. You guys have seen that before. It does the same thing almost every single day. And that's how you can tell that the market is moving how it's supposed to. You know, a lot of people like to blame things on manipulation, which manipulation does happen. And I believe it 100%. However, these market patterns never change. It just does the same thing over and over again. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to draw current, like critical price points, like 8 o'clock. This is usually the time I stop trading. During this period, price should be moving directional. So what I'm looking for here is I'm probably looking for price to come up, break above here, retest, and then come right back up. From that point, I'll take some buys. One thing that I have to be careful for is the fact that we're getting close to the all-time high. So I'm going to mark up 8 o'clock, mark up 9 o'clock, mark up 10 o'clock, and then mark up noon, because these are generally the cycles that I look for. I mean, obviously, you guys can figure out what cycles you like, but these are the cycles that I look for personally, which work perfectly fine. So that's why I continue to use them. So looking at this right here, there's no entry for the pivot scalp. Reason for that is because price needs to be above this, these two pivots over here. Also for the high-low scalp, there's no entry there because price needs to break above and close past the swing high. No entry off the 3-minute, no entry off the 1 minute. Going over to the fundamentals, currently 29, 28 points in the red. So as you guys can see, it's starting to shift its way back to the upside, right? It was -70, -60, -50. Now it's -20 as it continues to push up higher and higher and higher to the point where we're waiting for, because we don't want to trade with retail over here. Retail is still short, 75%. And I'm just waiting for it to swing to the upside. So a couple of things that I'm looking for here is I'm looking for price to swing above and close above this line right here to establish an entry using the high-low scalp. However, another thing that I'm looking for is I'm looking for price to confirm on the fundamentals that it's bullish. Currently right now, it's not bullish, so there is technically no entry available for us to really be looking for at this point. It's -50 points right now. It's not -100. It's not +100. So right now price is, although it is bearish, it's not very strong. It's more so on the neutral side because price just kind of goes sideways from this point, as you guys can see here. So if we get a sell signal here, it'll technically be a valid entry using the pivot scalp strategy, but I'm not going to take it because I don't want to trade with retail. So I try to remind you guys as much as possible what we're looking out for here, but it's the same process every single day. Like nothing changes. It's pretty much the same thing day in, day out. And it's just waiting for those perfect entries. So if you guys don't feel comfortable about trading today, then I recommend you guys just don't trade. Or if you guys still want to trade or you feel that FOMO, either take a smaller lot size or always remember to move your stop loss in profit. Even if it's a little profit, always move it in if you start to feel uncomfortable about a position. Because what could happen is you'll be in a position and then all of a sudden it'll just suddenly reverse on you. And that's the worst feeling, right? It's the worst feeling when you feel confident going into a trade and then you start to feel nervous or you feel that you made the wrong move. And then instead of moving your stop loss in profit to guarantee profits, you just let it run. And then you end up blowing your account or losing a lot of profit when you could have like guaranteed some for yourself. So nice. Paul said he took a nice buy on NASDAQ, May 2000. He was using it. Yeah. And Paul said that he uses a demo account if he gets FOMO, which is a smart move because you can still test your skills with trading, but you're not going to be risking your own funds, right? So that's something that I do recommend if you guys are not comfortable with risking any actual, funds today, especially with this crazy market. Tomorrow's going to be even crazier. Tomorrow's NFP. I was hoping there's going to be some direction today, but obviously you guys can see there's clearly no direction being set for US 30. You can see prices now starting to range within this area, which is a good thing. I like when price starts to range sideways and it gets tighter, right? When it starts to get tighter and tighter and it ranges sideways, this just indicates that a breakout is just waiting to happen because price is starting to squeeze. But obviously right now you can see price is still pushing back and forth. So I'm going to put this back down to this previous low until this one has been established because it's just going to keep pushing lower and lower. But if you zoom out a little bit, you guys can see that this is now the current range for US 30, which is not necessarily a small range yet. So let me zoom out a little bit. It's about a 600 pip range, which is going to be risky because as you guys can see right here, if you're trading the 1 minute pivot scalp, your stop loss is 300 pips. So if price just suddenly goes opposite of you, then you're going to get screwed because this range is wider than your stop loss. Generally, you want the range to be tighter than your stop loss so that, say, for example, if price does pull back, say if price pulls back and your range is like right here, right? That's completely fine because if it does pull back, what generally happens is it'll pull back, retest the high or whatever and come back down. So if your stop loss is 300 pips, that's cool because you can hold on to this far. So, you guys got to use a lot of logic when determining, whether it's a risky trade or not. If you guys haven't seen the previous mentoring session, it'd be good if you guys go watch that because I do have a checklist there of everything that I look at. I'm going to come up with a more comprehensive checklist because there's obviously other things that I look for, but I don't really know what I look for because I don't necessarily point it out. I kind of just know just by looking at the chart. The first things I look at are the fundamentals. I check the daily average. I check the actual stock index. I check the futures. I check retail sentiment. Then after that, I look at the technicals over here. I check the previous session high lows. I check the trend. I look at the trend meter. I look at the pivots. I look at the momentum. I look at everything. It's a puzzle. Every day the market's a puzzle, and it's your job to figure out how to solve it. That's why we have such a high win rate here because I solve this puzzle every single day, and I do it live with you guys, so it reinforces my knowledge and my process. So, like for me, there's a lot of things that I look at, but I don't necessarily know that I'm looking at it because I'm so used to just pointing things out in my head rather than explaining it to you guys. But yeah, if you guys haven't seen the previous mentoring session, that'd be a good idea for you guys to go check that out because I did give a checklist there of what I look for. But by the next session, I'll try to get you guys a more comprehensive one because I know there's a couple other things that I do look at that I didn't mention in there. So other than that, yeah, Patricia said market sucks. No, I agree. I agree. The market does suck today. It might not be as clear to everyone, but as you guys can see, I can tell that it sucks. Patricia can tell that it sucks. I'm sure a lot of other people here can tell that it sucks as well because there's no direction. New York session, well, this is the New York-London overlap. This is supposed to be the most volatile session for US 30 because it overlaps, right? The two busiest sessions. However, right now it's not really moving at all. It's kind of just going sideways along this area. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to move the low a little higher. And obviously you guys can see at this point that the range is getting tighter. which is what we want. We want the range to get tighter so that it can charge up for a breakout to the upside or the downside. Doesn't matter which direction. We just want to break out in those in that area. So let's see. Nice. So Essa said, yeah, it helped a lot. I watched it on YouTube. Yeah, definitely. So if you guys haven't, go ahead and check that out. The mentoring session will definitely help you guys understand what we're looking for here. Pretty much every session. Paul said, when US 30 sucks, I look at NASDAQ. Yeah, no, NASDAQ's been moving a lot, especially last week with the earnings. A lot of tech stocks, the earnings came out and it pushed price one direction or the other. So it caused a lot of volatility. US 30 should be volatile regardless because it's only 30 stocks. So like if one stock messes up or does really well, it generally pushes price super heavily. So I'm going to refresh this real quick. The fundamentals are currently 35 points in the red, which is not very strong. It's like a weak bearish bias. I'm going to refresh this over here, looking at the Dow 30 index. So looking at the Dow 30 index, there's only like one stock that's really holding it back, which is Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs is down 8 points. Amgen's down 3 points, or almost 4, and JP Morgan's down 2.4 points. Other than that, the more steady ones here are the green ones. Obviously, Visa's green, Salesforce is green, Home Depot's green. Until like Goldman Sachs starts to weaken a bit, then we're probably not going to see the shift to the green side. Which, I mean, that can happen at any point, right? You just want to stay focused and patient. Looking over here at retail sentiment, you can see a lot of the retail traders are starting to pull out, right? You guys can see that a lot of them, like just by looking at this, right? If you saw that there was like 78 to 76% of retail traders short, and now they're pulling out of their positions or they're switching to the long side, use your logic. Why do you think people are doing that? It's because they're starting to see the same thing that we're seeing here. They're starting to see that price is starting to shift back to the upside. And that's why they're getting scared and pulling out of the position, because they could see exactly what we see, right? This stuff is, I mean, it's just pretty clear. And that's another thing that you guys want to take into consideration, right? Trading is like, like I mentioned yesterday, it's like 10, 20% trading, like actual skill, and then 80% psychological. It's all, it's pretty much trade psychology. If you guys can get your trade psychology right, you guys already have strategies here that work perfectly fine. So the main key here is to understand when not to trade and when to avoid risky trades. Because as you guys can see, from everyone's profits here in K2, a lot of people here know how to make profit. The only problem with a lot of people is that they don't know when to stop trading, or they don't know when to avoid trades when they're not supposed to be trading. So like looking at everyone's profits here, Professor over here was up 1,500 this morning. It's at 558. Valley over here locked in a total of 1,175. Chris over here, a profit of 1,000, right? Most of the time people here have like straight wins, like barely any losses. Narith over here, he had mostly wins, just a couple losses there, but it covered his other trades there. So if you guys look at our win rate here, everyone has all wins, right? Because these are the people who actually get it. They understand that, this is a game where you have to focus on not hitting any losses. It's mostly about being consistent and avoiding bad trades. So if you guys can do that, you'll just keep adding up your profits every single day. Like this is a perfect example here. Brian, look, Brian, all of his trades from November 1, 2, and 3, the past 3 days, they're all in profit, right? So the thing is, you add this up, it's only been 3 days into the week. How much profit has he made so far? Like nearly 10K. And that's like in just 3 days. So Brian gets it, right? That's big congrats to Brian for doing that, because I know Brian's been with K2 for a while, and it wasn't like that in the beginning. He was making profits, but he's also losing. Now he's just winning. That's pretty much how it should be. All right, looking at current price right now, you can see price broke above it. Now we're just waiting for that confirmation. Technically right here, this would have been a buy off the high-low strategy. However, I missed it, unfortunately. Or I didn't even hit TP yet. I could probably enter late. Let me see if I can enter it right now. It's a bit of a risky trade. If you guys want to take this at your own risk. I do anticipate it to be risky though. So I'm going to I have to adjust my TP a little bit because I'm late into this position. Let's see, I moved down a little bit. Make some adjustments there. Let's see. No, I'm not going to adjust that. What I'm going to adjust here is I'm going to move my stop loss in profit. So let's see, 36, 140. All right. So I'm moving my stop loss in profit, and I hit my TP already. So I made 1,000 off that trade right there. I made 1,010. So full TP off that right there. If you guys wanted to take it, quick move there, but you guys got to be on your feet. That's what I was mentioning earlier. You guys got to really be thinking on your feet because these moves might happen like way too fast. And if you guys are wondering what strategy I used with that entry right there, it was the high-low scalp strategy right here. It's exactly what I was waiting for. I mentioned I got to wait for price to break and close above here. And then once it breaks and closes, then I'll take that trade there. And that's what I did. That's how I locked in that profit. So quick move right there for whoever caught it. I actually got in late, so I missed it when it closed out. This candle right here came back down, so I entered late and I still took it and I made the full profit off that. So I'll send you guys the screenshot of that right now. So we just got to be patient and wait for the next one. And I'll take a screenshot of my profits right now as well, so that you guys can see the trade that I took off that. So let me take a screenshot of the profits. There's no entries available right now, so nothing currently, but let me get this. It's weird. I don't know why I didn't, it triggered my TP, but on my MT4 it didn't show that. Whatever, I don't care. Let me just give you guys a little screenshot of that. All right, so onto here real quick. Nice profit off that. US 30. All right, solid. That move was really fast. Thankfully, I was able to catch it before it skyrocketed like that. So anyways, here's that small trade that I was talking about yesterday. I made about 160 off that small trade yesterday. I just wanted to get out, but this is a trade from this morning. You can see the timestamp right here at 6:59. That trade right there closed out, or we took it at 6:56 about 3 minutes ago. So I locked in 1,010 off this account. And then my copier over here, I locked in a total of 1,000, same thing, 1,010. So I'm in profit a total of 2,000 for this morning across both of my accounts. And, obviously we're just going to wait for the next opportunity to come up. So, all right, we're good. It's good right there. Yeah, everything looks pretty solid right here. Looking at everyone here, Paul's in currently, that's the trade he took earlier off NASDAQ. Nice work, Paul. Narith over here, locked in some pretty heavy profit. He took that scalp right there, locked in 1,290, also traded Amazon, also traded Tesla, and also traded NVIDIA. So definitely great work right there, Narith. Other than that, yeah, I think that's it for right now. Maddie over here took the trade as well, locked in a total of 2,240. Nice work, Maddie. So if you guys have profits to send in, go ahead and send them over. Otherwise, we will continue looking for more trades as we continue on. So now that we've reached this price point, the new high has been built right there. And this one as well. So let me just go back to what I was saying earlier. So remember how price was in the range? I said I was waiting for price to break out, right? Because it was just charging for a breakout. And that's exactly what happened, right? Price came above here, it closed, and then it broke out to the upside. And that's where we took that trade. So it's the same pattern that repeats itself almost over and over again, guys. So you guys just want to be careful not to trade when price is ranging. You want to wait for the breakout outside of it. So there's a low that's being established right here, but it's not established yet. When it is established, I'll move the low higher, but currently right now it's still being tested. Other than that, let's see. Other than that, I think that's it for right now. So currently looking at price right now, you can see where price is coming back down. Obviously one or two things will happen at this point. price is going to come back down at this point, or, I mean, you guys can see, right? It's the same exact thing. The thing that I drew up earlier played out perfectly. So if you guys remember right here, I mentioned price was going to come up, test the opening price, and then either break above and continue push higher or break below. Right here, it obviously broke past it, came above higher. What's happening now is price will come back, retest the opening price around this area, and then one of two things will happen. Price will either bounce off it and continue back up, or it'll come right back down. It's going to be really tricky because if you guys have been following us for a while, you guys notice that price has been, it's been consolidating and ranging within this area. So with this right here, usually you want a smooth move to the upside. That's like best case scenario, smooth move to the upside. However, price might come below here and just keep bouncing back and forth. So it's something to, obviously look out for. Other than that, we're just looking for any possible entries here. Just don't see anything right now. And put the other strategy back over here. And let's check out the fundamentals. All right, so as you guys can see, it's still negative, but it's not very far that low. It's negative 14 pips, or not 14 pips, 14 points. So it's not really far down that low. Going over to the actual stock index, let's see. Refreshing this right here, you can see majority of the stocks are they're flattening out. So as you guys can remember earlier, Goldman Sachs was down like negative 8 points. I said once this starts to loosen up and make its way back to the green side, then that's when price is going to start shifting back up, right? And that's exactly what happened here. Goldman Sachs is now negative 6.35 points. It was negative 6, negative 8, negative 9 points earlier. And as it starts to make its way smaller and smaller, you're going to start to see this number shift into the green side, because that's the only stock that's really holding it back. It's just Goldman Sachs. Going over here to the futures data, refreshing this, it's currently negative 31 points right now, which is about the same as the average. Looking over at retail sentiment, it's currently 75% short, which is perfectly fine, because with that many people short, it's going to help us with our confidence looking for buys. Because I'm still looking for buys right now. I'm not really looking for sells at all. I'm still stuck on these buys at the moment. So I moved that up to close up the range a little bit. However, obviously we'll see what happens next. If we get a buy signal here, technically it'd be a buy entry for the pivot scalp. However, it's going to be a bit risky because the fundamentals are still not on the bullish side. It's still it's still red, but it's starting to move up there. You can see it's negative 12 points, so it's starting to move up slowly. Eventually it's going to be green, but currently right now it's not fully green. So if we do get a buy signal here, it'll be a 1 minute pivot scalp. However, I would consider it a bit of a risky trade. And the reason for that is because the fundamentals still don't point in that direction. I know the high-low scalp strategy earlier was a risky trade too, because the fundamentals weren't green. However, there was more confirmations here with regard to it pointing to the upside. Price broke structure, it broke out of a range, and it was also, it fit all the requirements here. The strategies with more requirements are more likely to need less confirmations versus the basic ones like the pivot scalp. The pivot scalp only requires 2 requirements, right? The high-low scalp requires 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, basically 5 requirements here. So that's why this has confirmations built into it, while this one has the very bare basics of the strategy. That's why you need to add other confluences to confirm that it's a good trade. Because you don't count 3 and 4 because you already know you're going to enter the trade. TP stop loss does not count as a requirement either. It's just 1 and 2. For this strategy, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 before you enter the trade. So as you guys can see, that's where they differ quite a bit. Esther said it's also getting close to the all-time high. I agree. It's getting closer and closer to the all-time high. Let me just zoom out a little bit. Price is currently right here. The all-time high is about 600 pips away, which is not too far. So yeah, you guys kind of want to be careful when you get to that point. But obviously volatility is still moving very slow. As you can see right here, price is now breaking below. However, it might just reject off this point, swing right back up off this clean chart right here. Going to the 3 minute, this would technically be the breakout on the 3 minute. But like I mentioned earlier, guys, I'm not going to take it yet. For one, it's going to be past the all-time high. So it's going to be a bit risky for us to take this, this 3 minute breakout. For one, it's going to be past the all-time high, which I don't want to trade anything past the all-time high or have a target past it, because what generally happens is when price reaches the all-time high or somewhere near that area, what usually happens, if you guys are familiar with it, price generally gets close to it. And when it gets close to it, it's just going to reject back down, right? So that's why I don't want to take trades that cut into the all-time high. If it's below the all-time high, like it was for the 1 minute here, that's perfectly fine because we're in and out before it reaches that point. However, for this 3 minute daily, it just becomes too risky. So if you guys want to take it, you know, feel free to take it, but I'm not taking it. And there's reasons why I'm not taking it. It's because it's too risky. It's getting close to the all-time high. It's also against the fundamentals currently. And then it's also getting close to the New York high and the Asia high as well. So it's going to be a bit risky for you guys to, you know, obviously take this trade here, which I'm obviously not taking. But if you guys do want to take it, it's there. But hopefully you guys understand the reason why I'm not taking this 3 minute here. Even though it does look like a good entry, main reason is because it's at the all-time high. That's probably the main deciding factor for me, whether I want to take the trade or not. Because a lot of things can happen at the all-time high. It can either be really good or it can be really bad. Usually it's going to be really bad if you're trading in that direction, unless you wait for it to confirm past it. Definitely, no problem, Christopher. Hopefully you lock some profit in off that as well. Duggan said gold up 2%. Damn, missed out on that move. Yeah, a lot of things are moving right now, guys. It's not just US 30 that's starting to pick up. It looks like gold's starting to pick up and also NASDAQ as well. Let's go back to CNBC to see if there's any updates. Let's see, we got CNBC Check Chat with NerdWallet CEO Tim Chen. So, yeah, I mean, obviously there's, this is probably why the NASDAQ is moving right now because they're having their Check Chat. They're like going over a lot of other tech stocks right now. So other than that, let me just refresh this. Looking at all of the futures this morning, the only one that's red right now is currently the Dow Jones. S&P's up 16 points, NASDAQ's up 97 points, Russell 2K is up 13 points, VIX is currently down less than 1 point. So the only thing right here now that's red is the Dow 30. However, if everything here is green, it can probably hint to you that the Dow is probably going to move to the upside, right? It's only down -8 points now. So it's definitely making its way to the upside. But it's just going to be a matter of time. So, I mean, price right here obviously is just ranging. But once it does break above, or once it breaks into a bullish bias, it's going to just skyrocket up. I think we're probably going to reach the all-time high today. It might not happen right now, but it might happen like in the next couple hours before market close. What I do see here is price is probably going to range a bit before it comes back up. Question from Jennifer. Jennifer said, Shawn, from your experience with US 30, you think it'll keep ranging today or test 36,070? Let's see. Yeah, it's actually passed it already, Jennifer. So you're looking at it like way down here when it was low, and it actually just shot right back up from that point. So yeah, Jennifer said, oh wow, it already tested 36,070, just saw it. Yeah, price was down there earlier. I mean, we don't really know yet. We'll see if it because the problem is when it gets close to this all-time high right here, in order for them to push it up, they need a lot of retail traders on the short side, right? So how do they do that? What they do is they just keep pushing price lower and lower. So what I think they're going to do here is they're just going to keep ranging price between this area. It's just going to go up and down. And then when this number over here increases, right now it's currently 75% short, 74%. When this percentage goes up higher, you know, closer to like 80% or even higher than 80%, that's when they have a lot of retail traders trapped on the sell side, right? When they have all those traders trapped on the sell side, what do you think that means for the market makers and institutions? That's jackpot right there, because there's going to be so many people right here on a short. And let me just show you exactly what I mean by that. Like, you know, generally, where do people place their stop losses? It's going to be at the swing highs, right? It's probably not going to be the current swing highs, but their stop losses are either going to be at the swing high here, the swing high here, or at highest point is going to be at the, like slightly above the all-time high, right? So what do you think happens when there's a lot of sellers in the market? When there's a lot of sellers in the market, they're just going to keep cradling price around this area. So when there's more sellers in the market, when this increases to like 78, 80, 82, 85, when it becomes heavily on the short side, because a lot of people are anticipating that drop to happen, what do you think usually happens? Price just randomly spikes to the upside, right? And that random spike to the upside is not random. That's the market makers and institutions waiting for the retail traders to pretty much pile onto the sells here. What might happen next is if price, so this is what I anticipate as well. If price doesn't push up here within the next couple hours and it just keeps going lower and lower, so say if price just continues to drop lower and lower, right? And it doesn't go back up. If that becomes the case, then this is going to be another area of liquidity. Because what happens when people see that price is going lower? So if price drops below here, what happens when people enter a sell here? They place their stop loss at this previous swing, right? So that just becomes an area of liquidity. But you know what happens when price reaches these areas of liquidity? If price pushes up here and it stops everyone out, what happens? Price pushes up to the next area of liquidity, right? What happens when people get stopped out right here? It gets pushed up even higher. And then it breaks through the all-time high, creates a new all-time high. Once all these sellers are stopped out, what happens next? Price comes all the way back down, and they do the same thing over and over again. It's just, that's how the market works, right? It's like I was mentioning before, guys, it's all about psychology. We've been doing this for years. Like literally, I've seen this pattern play out every time we get to a new all-time high. And that's why I'm always like very wary as to like where I want to trade. And that's why I'm not entering any trades just yet, because it's just, it's a little too risky. For this right here, if there's a sell signal or a buy signal that appears right here, the only way that I would take this buy here is if it doesn't close near this high right here, because generally what happens when price reaches this high, it goes up, retests it, and then what happens when it tests it? It comes right back down, right? So if this, because I do see a buy signal that's pending right here, if this closes right here, I need it to close below, I need the TP to close out below here. Otherwise, what I'm going to do is instead of taking that buy there, I'm going to wait for it to close above this line. And then once it closes above here, then I'll take it for a buy. And then I'll write it into the open right here. So, it's like playing chess, guys. You guys have to anticipate what the next move is going to be. So like, think about this. If you're going to enter a buy here, like, where do you think price is going to reverse on you? And that's something that you guys will pick up as you continue to watch these live sessions. If you're new here, if you guys have been here for a while, you guys already know what I'm talking about, because I've been doing this like pretty much the same analysis, same walkthrough every time I look for a trade, because it's like the same thing that just keeps running over and over and over again. So looking at current price, you can see price isn't really moving at all, right? It's now ranging within this area. So the main thing that I'm going to be looking for is going to be this retail sentiment. I want this number to increase higher and higher. Obviously right now it's bouncing back between 74 and 76. I want this to be closer to the 80% mark. Once we get that, then we'll have a clear direction. By the time we get to that point, then this number right here should probably turn green. And then from there, you'll see the breakout just like we did yesterday. But currently right now, I just see price going sideways until more traders enter the market. Not necessarily enter the market, but enter for a sell so that they can spike back to the upside. So, it's a waiting game right now. It's 7:15 right now, guys. So if you guys do have questions, drop your questions in the chat, and then I can answer them. We just don't have much to look at right now, guys. Obviously I want to take some trades just as much as you guys, but there's nothing for us to take at this moment. Looking over here at the daily, there's no daily entry. If we get a daily entry, it's a pending daily buy right here. For this one, I'm not going to take this. If this is here, the reason why I'm not going to take it is because it's going to be past the all-time high. You guys got to use that into consideration almost every single time, guys, because the last thing you want to do is enter a trade. It gets to the all-time high, and then it comes right back down. And I'll mark up the all-time high right here so that you guys can see that, because it's literally right there. So you don't want to enter this trade. It reaches the all-time high, and then you're like, what now, right? Because I could already see questions come in, like if you guys enter the buy here for the 10-minute, and then I'm already warning you guys and telling you guys how risky this trade is. it never not happens where someone will enter a trade where I say, oh, this is risky, you should probably not enter this trade. What do? They enter the trade, it comes to the all-time high and it comes back down and retraces, and they're going to ask me, hey, Shawn, do you think it's going to come back up? I mean, I don't know, because we anticipate that was going to happen, and that's why I didn't take the trade. So if I ever tell you guys it's a risky trade, I'm telling you it because I think it's a risky trade. It's not because I don't want you, I'm not trying to keep my win rate up on this live session. I'm not taking the trade because I'm trying to keep my own win rate up in general, right? Like what I do here on the live is what I do normally. So like, that's why I go on these lives every morning. Like I don't necessarily need to be on these lives and explain what I'm doing. However, I go on these live sessions because regardless as to whether I go live, I'm going to trade either way. So I'm telling you what trades I do plan on taking, what trades I don't plan on taking, because it's just, you know, I obviously don't want to lose trades. Like losing trades are like the worst feeling. If I lose one trade in the morning, it's going to ruin my entire day. So, you know, that's why I personally don't, I don't take trades that are risky, even though there's more trades that I can take and they can win. Like most of them do win. They're still considered risky to some extent. So the 3-minute here is still running and it's currently in profit. So if you guys took it, it's currently in profit right now, but I'm not going to take this because like I mentioned earlier, it breaks right through the T is past the New York session high, the Asia high, and the all-time high. So you guys just want to be careful with that there. Going back over here to the 1 minute. Yeah, so Maddie said 1 minute, or not Maddie, mentioned 1 minute testing high low, rejected, good call, Shawn. And that's exactly what I anticipated, right? So we did have the buy right here. So if you guys remember, if you just like, you know, backtrack a few minutes, I mentioned if there was going to be a buy signal right here, I wouldn't have taken it because when price reaches this point right here, it's going to reject off it. And it did exactly that. You know, it's just not taking risky trades, because if you were to take this trade for a buy, which don't get me wrong, it's still a valid trade. However, your TP is going to be like past this line here, and you can see it did exactly what I mentioned, right? It came up, tested the area. It didn't test the actual high, but it tested the area like we anticipated, and then it came back down. And this just comes from experience, guys. You know, I've been testing the strategy live with you guys every single day for like the past 2-3 months, or if not more. And I see these patterns just keep repeating itself. So the more and more that you guys, trade and you guys apply these strategies that we apply every single day, the better you'll get at it. It's all about practice. You know, practice makes perfect. Even if you get through rough patches, just keep applying it, and you'll see that over time, it'll continue to prove itself during these sessions. So other than that, let's see, we have restricted news at 7:30. Let me go back to the calendar over here. Looking at Forex Factory, today is Thursday, November 4th. Thanks, Justin. Justin said that we have restricted news at 7:30 for FTMO. So if you guys are trading FTMO, you guys are trading any US pairs, this is restricted news right now, natural gas storage. So we'll see what happens. It's supposed to be good news. It's supposed to be positive. Previous was 87 billion. This is supposed to be 67. So it looks like they obviously are anticipating to sell a lot more than they had the previous month. So as you guys can see, I drew this line earlier mentioning that price was in a range, and that's exactly what's happening here. Price is just ranging within this area as we wait for this number over here to increase. So it's 7:20 right now. If you guys have questions, feel free to drop your questions. Otherwise, I'll try to go on until 8 o'clock. If we don't have any questions until then we'll keep watching the charts. If there's anything that looks good and it looks like the market's going to start moving directional, then I'll stay on and we'll start taking some trades. However, if there's nothing here that looks good, then it would be best to just sit out the market until the market starts to actually move. As you can see right here, the average is now back to 25 points negative. It was like -2 points, and now it's starting to drop a little bit. Let's look over here and see what's pulling it down. Main stock that's pulling it down is the same stock from earlier, Goldman Sachs. However, the other stocks are also adding up as well. So Goldman Sachs is down almost 8 points again. Amgen's down 4.5. JP Morgan's down 2.3. So same stocks earlier that are anchoring down the Dow 30 are still red. What I was waiting for Goldman Sachs moves that it just, it's a game of patience. All right. Other than that, let's see. I have this here. There's like a, I don't know if you saw that up top. There was like a connection on TradingView. I guess there it is again right there. I guess there's like 4 sequence delays would leave the wood line for flawless updates. It says leave the woodland, like I'm like in the forest or something. Yeah, thanks, Rick. Yeah, no, I started to notice it too. It said my internet connection was getting unstable. It's weather out here in California. I mean, it'll never make sense to me. Like the weather out here in California, whenever it gets cold out here, the internet connection in like all of California just gets bad. It's the same thing that happened last year, right? I mean, you guys have been here since like last winter, right? Last winter, the same exact thing happened. When it got cold, internet connection went crappy. During the summer, it was perfectly fine, no issues. But I mean, who knows? Rick, what a conspiracy theory do you have for this internet connection issue? Just messing with you. Paul said I'm goofing around on my demo while he waits. Yeah. So yeah, no, definitely. If you guys want to continue to trade, what I do recommend is to, unless the market starts to actually move, then either trade on your demo like Paul's doing, just to, if you get FOMO, or lower your lot size. Or if you want to use your proper lot size, go for a smaller target, or also like always move your stop loss in profit. Because that's basically what I did earlier with that 1 minute scalp. The market was acting kind of funky. So what I did was when price moved in profit, I moved my stop loss in profit right away, but I still hit my full TP. Rick said you live in Orange County. There is no weather. Yeah, I know. Looks like it's gonna rain though. It's I'm just looking out my office window right now. It's like super cloudy. I mean, it's like 7:23 right now. It should be like super sunny outside, but it's actually like really dark. Seems like it's like still 5. All right, let's go back and see what's going on with the market right now with the fundamentals. It's negative 14 points, negative 22. It's just bouncing around that area. There's no real difference that's changing right now. Also looking at this over here on IG, it's negative 74%, and nothing there. There's just like really nothing here that's going on at all. It's just ranging sideways still. And as you can see, price is starting to come down. If price comes down, this is just an indication that they're letting price drop a little bit so that this number over here will increase, right? Because people aren't going to enter sells unless they see a sell, right? So what might happen here is they might push price slightly down, slightly move it down a little bit. And then, once there's enough sellers there, it might just come down and then skyrocket all the way back up. So this is probably just going to be, a slow move to the downside, but I mean, it's 7:30 right now. So usually I stop trading around 7:30 anyways. So I'll watch the charts, but if I don't see anything really like worth taking, then obviously I'm not going to take any trades. Right now, this right here would have been nice if it didn't test this candle right here, but it did test it. So unfortunately, this is not a valid entry for a sell there. Also looking at current price right here, price is testing the Asia low. Let's see, Peter said, when can we expect you to see you and your girl on Housewives of OC? Right. The funny thing is, at my previous law firm, I used to work at a big law firm out here in Newport Beach. They actually filmed that at my law firm, which was like, I mean, it's pretty interesting. It was like, because it really is like reality TV. Like they had to put signs up everywhere to act normal because like they were filming the show there. I guess like one of the attorneys, like one of the family law attorneys, which or like the whole family law department, which is like one of our floors, they came on that floor. And I guess they were handling one of their cases, which was like, I mean, it's crazy because I've seen the show before, and it looks scripted, but it's like, I mean, obviously it is scripted, but it's but it is they still act normal. It's kind of like Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Like people love that show because they think it's like, and they think it's scripted, but in reality, they're like actually they actually act that way in real life. Yeah, no, it's interesting. We have to do a reality K2 show here, and we technically do it every morning. You guys watch me here react to everything, right? React to the trolls, react to the market, react to everything here. This is all real. I'm not acting. I'm literally like when I get freaked out with the position, I really do get freaked out with the position. Or when I get upset with trolls, that's really me. Rick said conspiracy theories. All right, guys, looking at the 1 minute here, there's so this, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4. This technically was, I just realized right now. So this is I goofed off and I didn't really pay attention to this right here. So looking at this strategy over here, right? This required that we establish a swing. So this right here was a swing low. And these candles here never touched it. So I don't know why I blanked out, but we missed this trade here because price broke below this swing low, this one right here. Price was never tested, so this was still the swing low. This technically right here was trying to establish as a swing low, but this candle touched it. So this didn't classify as a low. This was still the low right here. What I missed was that this candle right here actually broke below that low, right? So if you like tie everything together, confirm the previous swing low, which would be right here, confirm a price break and close past the previous swing, which would have been this candle right here. Confirm price is trading, confirm you're trading in the direction of momentum. We had a sell signal here. Confirm that price was not ranging. It was ranging within here, but it broke below with the entry candle. And then lastly, you wanted to confirm that price hasn't touched it. So it never touched it until it broke below here. So this right here was actually an entry using the high-low scalp. Unfortunately, we missed it. Some things like that, like little intricacies are like things that you'll miss. However, this strategy is still new. I've only been applying it for like a couple months now. So as we continue to apply it, it'll make more sense for me to like look out for certain things. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I just wanted to show you guys that I missed the trade there, but technically that would have been an entry because all of the requirements here were met. So it's really key that you guys really ingrain these, not just this strategy, but every strategy that we have here, you guys really get it down, because if the more and more you guys get it down, the better you'll be at applying these strategies. So other than that, let me just scroll over here real quick and see what else we missed here. Duggan said it's after 10 p.m. here. If the market doesn't drop soon, I'm cracking a beer. My EJ just hit my adjusted stop loss for a few points in profit. Rick said there was also 1 minute, but you didn't like it because of the New York high. Yeah, so that's the main key right there. And that's another reason why I wouldn't have taken this as well, Rick. So yeah, definitely there's other factors here. I'm just showing you guys that, the strategy here would have, applied it in that position. But since there's more requirements, so this entry right here would have been for the pivot scalp. The reason why I wouldn't have applied that there was because there's only 2 requirements. So we had to add the extra confluence of the New York high. For here, right here, we have a lot more requirements. But like you said, if I wanted to be very careful, which I am very careful, I wouldn't have taken it for that specific reason. But if someone wanted to take a risky trade, obviously there'd be opportunity there. So yeah, I mean, it's up to you guys, right? Like I'm here to give you guys all these tools and give you guys these strategies and give you guys different confluence and confirmations to use, but it's really up to you how you guys want to use it. For me, I want at least like almost 10 confirmations before I enter any trade. That's why if you guys look at my trades here, like let me just go over here real quick and I'll show you. Let me forward this over to the group over here. Looks like there's a couple more profits here as well. So Patricia, or let me just scroll over here real quick. I missed quite a bit. Let me scroll down. Patricia over here locked in a total of 1,000. She took a couple trades right here. Nice wins right there. Brian over here as well. So as you guys remember, I showed you guys Brian's consistency, right? So Brian said, keeping the K2 consistency going. Thank you, Shawn and K2 fam. So this is a consistency I'm talking about. As long as you close the day in green every single day, your profits are going to add up. Brian's only been trading for 4 days this week, November 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th. He's locked in. I could even do the math here. He's locked in a total of 3,504 plus 2,190 plus 4,298 plus 2,837. He's in profit 12,831 for this week. And this is NFP week. Like, guys, if you guys have the consistency to avoid bad trades and take the trades that are good, you guys can lock in some pretty massive profits. So definitely great work right there, Brian. Super proud of Brian here because Brian's been killing it day in, day out. And, you know, this just shows that I'm not the only one doing good here. There's a lot of people here who are actually doing a lot better than me. Like today, I only locked in, 2,000 right here. Brian over here locked in a total of 2,800. He's close to 3,000. So he took 4 trades. I only took 1 trade, and he's doing way better than me. So as long as you guys understand the strategies and you guys understand the risk and you guys know exactly what you're doing, you guys should have no problem doing better than myself. And I actually like seeing when people do better than me because that just shows that my strategies here actually work. It's one thing for you to do well on your own. It's another thing for you to be able to teach others to do exactly what you're doing and thrive, right? So definitely great work right there, Brian. Congrats to you. Keep it up. Close out the week strong and just keep it going. So Dell over here as well. So Dell is in profit a total of 691 or 696. Sorry. Definitely great work right there by Dell. He had a couple losses here. It looks like they were just normal losses. Other than that, he recovered from those losses really quickly right after with all of these wins. So definitely great work right there, Dell. New levels over here, currently in profit 4,275. Had 1 loss right there, but everything straight wins. So definitely amazing work right there, new levels. And then Patricia's other account in profit 1,937. Great work, Patricia. Looks like she might have taken that sell earlier that we were looking at. Another profit over here by Andy. Andy's in profit a total of 1,360. Looks like he took the trade earlier and the other trade right here for 2 back-to-back wins. Nice work, Andy. Patrick over here in profit on his first account, total of 1,519. Great work right there, Patrick. And then his other account right here in profit a total of 3,930. So amazing work right there, Patrick. Other than that, I think that's it for now. If you guys have more profit to send over, go ahead and add them to the group or send them in any of the groups, and then we can add them to the list to be posted later. So Gene Vaughn over here locked in a total of 870 this morning. Nice work, Gene Vaughn. Great profit right there. Twan over here locked in a total of 2,042. Nice work, Twan. Other than that, I think that's it for right now. If you guys have more, just send them over and they'll add them to the list of profits for the day. So we got new lows established right here. Let me check the fundamentals real quick. I think the retail sentiment is still currently short, 74% short right now. It hasn't really moved very much. Looking over here at the daily average, currently 42 points in the red. So the bias right now is still bearish. However, I'm not going to trade for any sells because the retail sentiment is still short. So I'm still looking for some buys. I'm looking for it to swing back up. As soon as it swings back up, I can start looking to enter some buys in that direction. But currently right now, looks like price is probably going to just be going sideways from here. So sideways movement right there. Going back to this over here, and as you guys can see, right, see this markup right here? It's playing out exactly how I mentioned, because what they're doing is they're trying to stack up more sellers. The only way to lure in more sellers is to drop price. So they're dropping price slightly. The more and more they drop price, the more and more sellers will enter the market, right? They want this. We want this number to increase. So we want them to do what they're doing right now. The thing is, I don't want to enter any sells because we don't know when the spike back up is going to happen, right? It can happen at any moment. So what you want to do is you just want to wait and be patient for this number here to increase at 74%. I'm looking for it to get to 76, 78, maybe even up to 80. If it gets up to 80, then I'm going to start drawing some liquidity zones. Once it gets to that point, then, you can make some pretty heavy profit using the liquidity zones, because you can catch the moves like super straight up. But, I'm just going to wait. It's just again, patience at this point. So price continues to drop lower and lower. As it drops lower, I'm just going to continue drawing more and more lows. So this low right here didn't qualify because it tested it on the following candle. This low over here was already used. So we can't use any of these anymore. The next current low would be this one down here, actually. Actually, no, this wouldn't be, because this would be the most recent low and this was already used. These over here have been passed by. So we just got to keep dropping it lower and lower as price continues to drop. But yeah, I mean, it's just gonna be a matter of time. It's got to be patient with this, wait for it. Once we have the confirmation, you can start looking. But currently, right now, just nothing for us to take at this moment. SSA gonna call it a day and stay out of the market today. Thanks. See you tomorrow. Yeah, definitely. So we'll see you tomorrow. So it's getting close to 8 o'clock, guys. If you guys have questions, drop your questions in the chat. Otherwise, we might be wrapping it up early as well, because I just don't want to get caught in this FOMO. I know if I get caught in the FOMO, I'm just gonna get burned free. I don't want to. I don't want to keep forcing trades if I don't need to. So anyways, going back over here, let's see if there's anything else that I'm missing. So this is exactly why we wouldn't have taken the 3-minute daily, right? It would have hit your stop loss. So hopefully nobody took it. You guys took my advice not to take a trade here, because there's just so many red flags here with regard to the daily. Right here also with the snipe, you can see price kind of just faked out, came up, then it came back down. That's why I wouldn't have taken the snipe as well. So like hopefully it's making sense to you guys why I don't take these certain trades. Because there's specific reasoning behind it, right? It's not like I'm not taking these trades to be careful. I'm literally taking these trades because they're not good trades, they're risky trades. I mean, yeah, being careful is going to be one factor, but I'm not going to take a risky trade and then hope and pray that it goes in my direction, because it's probably not going to go in my direction. Right here with the daily, this is going to be fine, because if the price continues to drop lower, and say our entry comes down here, this is going to be perfectly fine, because it's going to be close to the all-time high. However, it's not going to be past it. It's going to be like yesterday, right? Remember yesterday's move? Or I'll just pull up the chart. So same with yesterday's move. It came down slightly, right? And then it just perfectly went all the way back up. So we kind of got into this. I mean, I wouldn't say we got into it early, because it's the same entry as this one right here. Like if we waited for the next one, but all in all, it's just as long as you understand where price is going and you know what price is doing, then you can be waiting for that push to the upside. Like for us, we're waiting for that push to the upside because everything's pointing towards the upside right now. It's just a matter of time until it swings that way. However, it doesn't always have to play out that way. That's why for me, I'm not going to enter a buy and just hope that it goes up. I'm going to wait for an actual entry before I do that. And currently right now, there's no entries available. Let's see. Let me go over here real quick. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. I was like looking for something right now. Yeah, nothing. I mean, there's nothing here right now. I was looking for something, but I forgot what I was looking for. Sorry, guys. Yeah, there's just nothing right now for us to look for. So yeah, if you guys have questions, go ahead and drop your questions in the chat. Otherwise, I'll sit around for a bit for the next maybe 5 or 10 minutes. And if you don't see anything, or if you don't have anything to take, then obviously we're just going to log off the session a little early to prevent getting caught in any of these fake outs in the market. Rick said, I'm going to check out for an hour or so before I do something stupid in this range. No, exactly. And that's what I'm trying to get across to you guys as well, right? So Rick understands, if you guys get caught in this range and you guys end up trading when you should be waiting, you're going to get caught in some really bad trades, right? Because what could happen here is, I'm going to give you guys some scenarios. Say, for example, you have a buy here that comes up, but it's a risky buy. As soon as you enter that trade, I'm just going to mark this up right there. As soon as you enter this trade, it's going to range back to the downside, right? What might happen, it'll hit your stop loss and then come right back up. So what you want to do is you want to avoid the range. You definitely do not want to trade when price is ranging. This is okay when the range gets tighter, because it's charging up for a breakout. But what you want to wait for is you want to wait for the breakout and then follow that direction. You don't want to just enter it right now and then hope that it's going to hit your breakout, or that it's going to, range in your direction, because there's no guarantee that's going to happen. However, I'm still looking for a buy here. My bias is buy. So what I'll be looking for is for price to break and close above here, so that I can take that trade like I did earlier. One key that you guys want to have is always have a bias. It doesn't matter if it's a short-term bias or a long-term bias. Have a bias. The bias can change. Obviously, you want to make sure that you keep that in mind, that your bias can go from long to short rather quickly. However, you guys just want to have a bias and not just trade blindly. because if you train blindly, you're probably going to get burnt. All right, so we have a new high that's trying to establish right here. In order for it to establish, we need about 5 candles past it. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to close out the deal. And when that happens, we'll move this lower to here. But currently right now, there's no entry that's available for that. Patricia said, I'm out. Ranging markets stink. Happy with profits for today for NFP week. No, exactly. So smart move by Patricia as well. Just remember, guys, you guys don't have to trade every single trade. You don't have to trade every single day. If the market doesn't give you what you need, then sit out the market. Or if you want to trade on a demo or take a really, really small lot size. But don't risk blowing your account. Don't risk blowing your account taking risky trades. Rick said, Shawn, on the high highs and high lows, do you only take, say, buys at the high low or both? I do both. Those don't really affect me as much. One thing that, so this is the cool thing about the indicator, right? So I released the indicator to you guys and you guys are starting to notice things, right? One thing that Josh noticed, you guys know Josh, obviously, I don't know if he's in here, but Josh, the admin, Josh K², he started to notice, I don't think he's here right now, he's probably at work. So one thing that he started to notice, and I started noticing as well, is this doesn't always happen, but it happens a good amount of times. So let me see. And also, guys, I have another update to the indicator. I'll do that later today. Your wishes were granted by my brother. So my brother updated the indicator where you can change this smaller and bigger. So let me just show you guys real quick. The new indicator is right here, but I will, it'll take some time for me to get that update. It's not on this one right now. Let me see if I can find it. But yeah, a lot of you guys were asking for the opportunity to have this. Okay, so here's the label size, right? So here's label size. You guys said it was too big, right? If you want it smaller, you can make it smaller. If you want it tiny, you can make it tiny. If you're blind and you want it huge, you can make it huge. So I'll be updating the indicator today. Whenever you guys have anything that you guys want changed, or is there anything that you guys need help with, just let me know and I can make that change for you. It took a lot quicker than we anticipated, because if I did it myself, this thing would take like a month or so. But my brother knows how to code, so he did it for me, and thankfully he did it, within given time. So you guys can go and make changes here when identifying this on your chart. Because I understand that some people have big screens, some people have small screens. I have a huge screen, like my screen's like 30 inches, so that's why I can use big numbers and it doesn't really bother me. But so going back to what I was saying with Josh, like one thing that Josh noticed was that if you get something like this, like a lower low, usually price will reject off it and it'll come up pretty heavily, right? Where you can make a quick move. Same with the higher highs, right? So price reaches a higher high. And then one thing that I added to it was that it generally needs to be followed by like a strong candle in that direction. So like, for example, right here, we have a higher high. It's followed by not necessarily a strong red candle, but let me look for an example. Okay, so right here, a higher high with somewhat of a strong red candle, or no, sorry. Let's see. I just want to find an example for you guys to show you what exactly I mean by that. It's kind of hard right here because it's a choppy market, but let's see, a higher high, no, lower low, no. Okay, so perfect, right here. This is a perfect example. Let me see if this is still there. Okay, so see how we have a lower low right here, and it's followed by a strong green candle, right? This is not a strategy, but this is something that Josh noticed, a lot of other people noticed as well, and I'm starting to kind of back test a little bit. When you get like a lower low or a higher high, and it's followed by a strong candle after it, odds are it's going to go in that direction, right? It doesn't always happen, but if you want to test this out, this is something that you guys can probably look at. And then, yeah, basically, you set it up how you normally would. You let it run, and there you go. See that big push to the upside? So that's the good thing about me releasing these new indicators and you guys playing around with it without actually giving you guys a strategy to follow yet. Because now that people are playing around with it, they're going to start to see things. They're going to see patterns, and then they're going to mention these patterns. So if you guys see something that looks good, share it with the group. I mean, you don't have to share with the group, but if you want to, share with the group or share it with with me, and then we can probably look over it, because whatever helps the community, obviously I'm going to share with you guys. I never hide anything from you guys. If I see something that's good, um we'll I'll share with you guys. I want everyone here to be successful. Like, there's no competition here in K2. We're all a community. We're all, we're like one big family here that trades together. We all want everyone to succeed. So if you guys see something that's good, if you guys don't want to share with the group, share with me, and I can help you. We can probably figure out things to make it better. Or if you want to share with the group, it's better to share with the community, because what you can do is you can put it in the chat here, and then when you put it in the chat, you'll have all this input from everyone else in the group, right? People will say, oh, that's cool, let me try that out too. I'm gonna go back test it during this session. I'll back test it in this session. And it helps everyone to figure out little things to make your strategy better, or whatever you figured out. And that's how you get better as a trader, because it's all trial and error until you figure out what works and what doesn't. Stick to what works and stop doing what doesn't. And that's how you'll just increase the ability to make the strategy better. So I don't think there's any trades right now. Let's move this low a little lower. And then let me see if there's anything else here. So Paul sent his profits. He took a buy here, locked in a total of 2015. Nice work, Paul, off NASDAQ. Scrolling over here, Sheriff over here locked in a total of, oh, nice. So Sheriff said he failed phase 2, then took phase 1 again and passed. So, it's all about consistency, guys. Great work right here, Sheriff, by making the recovery back on your other account. It was like I was mentioning before, guys. You guys know how to win, right? Everybody here knows how to win because we all apply the same strategy. The main problem here is people don't know how to not lose or how to avoid losses. So if that's your problem, guys, go back and look at your trade. So what I do recommend is, if you guys have the problem with, if you guys are okay with winning but not okay with losing, go back and review your trades. Because if you go back and review, I'm pretty sure you can point out exactly what you did wrong with those trades, and you can avoid it the next time around. But definitely great work right there, Sheriff. Twan over here as well, in profit, a total of 3,028 for this morning. So great work right there, Twan. Other than that, I think that's it for right now. Let me see if there's any other questions here before we wrap up this session. Here, let me scroll up real quick. Other than that, let's see. Divergence. Yeah, no, exactly, Patricia. Divergence for sure. Al said, good morning. I can't populate the high-low indicator. Can you please help me out? Al, try taking it off your chart and then putting it back on. That'll usually fix it. If there's an issue with your indicator, just take it off, go back to your indicators, go to your invite-only scripts, and then from here, put it back on your chart. And that usually fixes it for you. If there's still an issue, log out of your trading view and log back in, or open and close it, and that should fix it. Trading view is always updating their system, like almost every day. So I know it was like a couple days ago, there was an issue with a lot of people who had an issue with the sessions indicator, but they did what I just mentioned, and then it fixed it. So that should be able to fix it for you. Trey's asking, what are the trend meter settings? So to change your trend meter settings, Trey, you go down here, you click on the settings button, and then these are the default settings right here. So default settings are 30-minute, 1 hour, 2 hour, and 4 hour. You'll just click on this here, click same as chart for all of them if you're scalping, and then you just close it, hit OK, and then it'll update for you. So if you're scalping, we use same as chart. If you're trading intraday, then use the intraday settings. Intraday settings are going to be the default, which are 30-minute, 1 hour, 2 hour, and 4 hour. But if you're scalping, you keep it the same as chart. Other than that, I think that's it, guys. Let me see if there's anything else for me to look at here before we, yeah, no problem, Trey. Gotcha, no problem. Let's see if there's anything else here. I don't see anything on the 1 minute. So nothing here on the 1 minute right now. Nothing here on the 3 minute. I mean, technically there was a sell signal there, but I wouldn't have taken it because it's going in the direction of retail. No entry here off the 10 minute, and nothing here off the daily either. So I think that's it for now, guys. Looking at this currently, you can see it's like crazy how it plays out exactly how I drew it, right? So if you guys remember, I drew this like almost an hour ago, and it's doing exactly what I drew because it's the same pattern. They're trying to lure in some more sellers. The only way that more sellers will enter the market is if they make it look like price is trending to the downside. Right now, currently, it's not working because people are pulling out of their position. However, when the next wave of traders come in. Because the thing is, there's waves of traders, right? And I'm sure you guys have gone through this. There's traders like us who are up by like market open at 6:30 a.m. And then there's lazy traders who wake up like at 8 or 9 and they're like, oh, I don't like trading volatility, so I wait till market gets slow around 8 or 9, and then they hop into the market. What happens when you enter this market at 8 or 9 and you see prices going down? If you don't know what you're doing, you're going to enter a sell, right? Because you think price is trending to the downside, which makes sense, right? If you're a new trader and you don't know what you're doing, what do? You enter the trade for a sell because you think it's in a downtrend, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. We've all been beginner traders at some point where you guys draw something like this and you're like, oh, it's in a downtrend, I'm gonna enter the sell. But the thing is, we've been awake for like hours now. We've already seen this play out. So we already know price is probably going to swing back up eventually. So you get like lazy traders that come in around 8, 9, 10, around this point. They see price coming down. What do? They enter a sell. And that's perfect because that's what we want. We want retail traders to enter the sell side so that this number over here increases. And then once it reaches 12, what happens? Price starts to swing back to the upside. We take the buy, everyone gets stopped out, and we're all happy here. So you guys, it's the same pattern. And the only reason I know this, guys, because I was a lazy trader myself. When I was still working my job as an attorney, I would go to work and I'd start trading around like right before lunch. So I know what it's like. Or sometimes I'd have the day off and then I would sleep in and I'd miss my alarm. I wake up at like 10 and I'm like, damn, I missed like the entire morning, but I still want to trade. So the thing with that is that when price reaches 8 to 10, you start to see some consolidation. From 9 to 10, or from 8 to 9, you see some consolidation. From 9 to 10, you see some more consolidation. At that point, from 10 to 12, this is usually where you see the mid-market reversal. So if price is coming down right here, you'll see the push to the side here, and then around 10 to 12, you see the reversal. So, just stuff to keep in mind, guys. If you've been trading for a while, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And the market just keeps repeating its patterns. So other than that, guys, I think that's it for now. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out on Telegram or email me. It's 6:57 right now, or 6:53. So it's getting close to 8, which is my time to stop trading. So I'll be around, sitting around for a bit. So if you guys do have questions, feel free to message me. I'm probably gonna get off the chart for a bit, probably make breakfast, and then wait for the market to actually start moving. You can see the market is starting to move here. But one thing that I'm looking for is I'm looking for this number to increase or decrease. And I'm also looking for the fundamentals over here to stabilize in one direction, because it's been bouncing back and forth, but we just want it to stabilize one direction before we take the trades. So other than that, guys, I'll catch you guys tomorrow for the next live session as you wrap up the trading week. One thing to keep in mind, another reminder, tomorrow is NFP. So looking at the calendar over here, there's a ton of news that's coming out tomorrow. So Friday tomorrow, we have high impact news at 5:30 for US. We have average hourly earnings, non-farm employment change, unemployment rate, and then we also have consumer credit later that day, with the addition of the Treasury currency report. So there's a heavy news day tomorrow. I'm probably not going to trade, but I'll be live with you guys. We'll be analyzing the market. If I see something really good, then obviously I'll trade. But if not, then NFP is like the worst day to trade. It's like the most riskiest, the most irregular, the most unpredictable market. So other than that, guys, I think that's it for this session. If you guys have questions, reach out. Otherwise, I'll catch you guys tomorrow for the next live session, and we'll be wrapping up the week strong. So see you guys and have a great rest of your morning. If you guys decide to trade, use a smaller lot size or just don't trade. I'm not going to trade. So if I don't trade, it's an indication that the market's probably not a good time to be playing around with. So definitely